For as long as most of us can remember, the global economic order has felt pretty settled, hasn't it?
Yeah, quite predictable in many ways.
We've sort of grown accustomed to the G7, the familiar faces, America, Germany, Japan, the traditional heavyweights.
The ones who seem to set the rules, essentially, the undisputed champions of global finance for decades.
They were consistently calling the shots. But what if I told you there's a new alliance on the global stage?
Okay.
One that isn't just challenging their long-held dominance, but, and this is the key part, in some incredibly significant ways, has already surpassed them.
Right, that's a big claim.
Okay, so let's truly unpack this. Today, we're taking a deep dive into BRICS.
BRICS.
And this isn't just, a political talking point or some clever acronym someone came up with. It really represents a rapid, maybe even fundamental shift in global power dynamics.
A real shift.
Our mission today is to understand what BRICS is, how it even came about, what it's doing right now, and what its future might hold for you, for all of us in this interconnected world.
It affects everyone eventually.
And here's where it gets particularly interesting, the bit I hinted at. This alliance has already eclipsed the G7 in a key economic measure.
Already, not just projected to.
Already. Let's explore how this happened.
It's truly fascinating, actually, to observe how quickly this new constellation of power has risen up, reshaped such a long-standing global landscape.
Yeah.
For decades, the G7's influence was, well, almost unchallenged, wasn't it?
Completely.
They effectively dictated the terms of global finance, development, their collective economic might, their policy decisions. They steered international affairs.
It felt like a very clear, maybe singular vision of economic leadership, almost immutable.
Set in stone, you could say.
I think many listeners would agree with that picture, that historical authority. The G7 felt like the fixed stars in our economic sky.
Architects of the post-war stability, in many respects.
You pictured them as the core drivers, definitely. But as you said, something started to shift. And it all began with, well, really just an idea, an acronym.
An acronym.
Yeah, back in 2001, there was this Goldman Sachs economist, Jim O'Neill.
Oh, right. I remember the name.
He looked at the world and saw four nations, Brazil, Russia, India, and China, just experiencing incredible, warp speed growth.
Unprecedented growth for those economies at the time.
Exactly. He recognized their incredible potential and basically said, hey, look, these economies are going to be huge. He coined the term BRIC.
BRIC.
Just to highlight them as, promising investment destinations. It was purely an analyst's observation, a forecast.
And if we connect that to the bigger picture, it really demonstrates how potent economic trends can directly pave the way for geopolitical alliances.
That's a great point.
What began as just an investment banker's projection, a clever way to identify promising markets, very quickly evolved into a real-life club.
It took on a life of its own.
The economic realities were just so compelling. Then 2010 rolls around, South Africa joins.
Adding the S.
Right, completing the initial 5-member alliance. So it transformed from an investment concept into this cohesive group of nations actively looking to collaborate on a much broader stage.
And the data tells a really powerful story here. Because when we measure economic output by, purchasing power parity, PPP.
That's the one, PPP.
Something truly remarkable has happened. BRICS has already surpassed the G7 using that measure. Can you help us understand what PPP actually means? Why does that metric make such a compelling case?
Absolutely. So PPP, purchasing power parity, it's essentially a way to compare economic productivity and living standards between countries. But it crucially accounts for differences in the cost of goods and services.
Okay, so not just the exchange rate number.
Exactly. Think about it like this. $1 in, say, New York buys you a lot less coffee or bread or whatever than the equivalent amount of local currency might buy you in Mumbai or Sao Paulo.
Right, cost of living differences.
PPP adjusts for that. It gives a more, let's say, accurate picture of a country's real economic strength and what its currency can actually purchase locally.
Ah, okay.
So by this measure, BRICS isn't just catching up. It's now producing more of the world's goods and services when you consider that local buying power. It's present-day
I
reality.
think it's potential anymore.
Not just potential, it's happened.
Wow, that's a truly striking statistic. It really makes you pause and think about where global economic gravity is actually centered today.
It certainly shifts the perception.
And beyond that raw economic output, what about just the sheer scale, the people involved?
Indeed. Beyond the PPP comparison, you have to remember BRICS collectively accounts for over 40% of the world's population.
40%.
That's a massive demographic base.
Yeah.
Billions of people, immense human capital driving innovation,
You
consumption.
have a huge market, a huge workforce.
This combination of significant economic output measured by PPP plus sheer population size gives them this formidable, really undeniable presence on the global stage.
Makes their collective voice pretty hard to ignore in any major international discussion, I imagine.
Impossible to ignore, I'd say.
So, okay, this isn't just about impressive growth figures or population numbers. What does it all mean for the global order? Why are these specific countries banding together? What's their ultimate goal beyond just, economic collaboration?
Yeah, good question. Is it just about wanting a bigger seat at the existing table?
Or are they trying to build a new table altogether?
I think it's definitely more than just asking for a bigger seat. Their core ambition is fundamentally about creating what they call a multipolar world.
Multipolar. Okay.
For a long time, the global economic stage felt like it had one main director, right? Largely influenced by Western powers, or at most, a very small exclusive club like the G7.
Yeah, that rings true.
BRICS aims to decentralize that power, to distribute global direction more broadly, reflecting the rise of these emerging economies. They want a world where multiple centers of power contribute to global governance.
Not just a few dominant players setting the agenda for everyone else.
Exactly. A more balanced distribution of influence.
And this challenge isn't just talk, is it? They're actively working to build alternatives to the existing structures. They're quite vocal about criticizing institutions like the IMF and the World Bank.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just rhetoric.
What's their main beef with those established Western-dominated bodies?
Well, their aim is definitely to challenge the dominance of institutions like the IMF and the World Bank, which are often seen as favoring developed nations
How so?
in their governance structures, their voting rights, the conditions attached to loans. BRICS nations often perceive these institutions as reflections of a post-World War II power structure.
A structure they feel no longer accurately represents today's global economic reality.
Precisely. Or their own interests as developing and emerging economies. They're looking for mechanisms that better serve their unique development needs, often, crucially, with fewer strings attached.
Fewer political conditions tied to the money.
That seems to be a key part of the appeal, yes.
And their answer to that, their own alternative, is the New Development Bank, the NDB.
That's right, the NDB.
It's designed to fund infrastructure projects in developing countries, correct? Is it actually doing that? Is it just a concept, or is it actively investing?
No, it's very active. The NDB is their concrete step towards building that parallel financial architecture. It's funding major projects, think port expansions in Brazil, crucial renewable energy initiatives in India, vital infrastructure upgrades across its member states and even beyond.
So it's real money flowing.
Real money, real projects. And the distinction really lies in its stated mission. Provide funding without those perceived political conditionalities, often attached to loans from the traditional institutions.
More flexibility, maybe.
It aims for a more flexible and, importantly, member-driven approach to development finance, giving borrowing nations more autonomy over their own priorities. It's an institution really reflecting their shared vision.
Okay, so building their own bank is one thing. But there's another truly significant strategy BRICS seems to be pursuing, one that could really reshape global finance. This push to de-dollarize.
Ah, yes, de-dollarization. That's a big one.
It sounds like a massive undertaking, though. How realistic is it? I mean, the dollar's dominance isn't just political will, right? It's baked into the global economic infrastructure. There's trust, liquidity.
That's a critical question, and you're absolutely right. The dollar's dominance is deeply, deeply entrenched. It's not going away overnight.
So are BRICS nations truly ready or even capable of building a parallel system that can compete with that kind of global inertia, at least in the short to medium term?
Well, the push is gaining momentum, and I wouldn't underestimate it. De-dollarize basically means reducing their reliance on the U.S. dollar for global trade and financial transactions.
Trading in their own currencies more.
Exactly. We're seeing more and more instances, Russia and China actively trading oil in yuan, for example. India and the UAE exploring rupee dirham trade. They're trying to circumvent the need for the dollar as the middleman.
Little by little.
Every such transaction, every bilateral trade agreement that bypasses the dollar, it chips away, however slightly, at its universality. It's a slow burn, perhaps, but it's a move that could gradually reshape the global financial landscape.
potentially diminishing the dollar's role as the world's main reserve currency.
Potentially, yes, over the long term. It's a direct strategic challenge to a system that's been in place for, well, decades.
Hmm.
Its realism lies in the collective, persistent effort of a growing number of increasingly significant economies.
It's definitely something to watch closely. And just when you thought the BRICS alliance was already a significant force, they went and got bigger.
They did indeed, dramatically bigger.
2024 saw this massive expansion. It really made headlines.
It certainly did. 5 new members were welcomed into the fold.
Who are they again?
Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, UAE.
Wow. So a real mix there, geographically and politically.
Absolutely. This expansion signals a very deliberate strategic move to broaden its geographic and economic base, incorporating key players from crucial regions, Africa, the Middle East, Asia.
It sends a pretty clear statement, doesn't it, about wanting to be a truly global representative bloc.
Exactly. Intent is clear.
The immediate impact seems undeniable. BRICS is now this incredibly diverse, genuinely global coalition spanning these critical regions. But beyond just dots on a map, what's the strategic significance, especially when we think about global resources?
The strategic significance is immense, particularly concerning energy.
Ah, because of the new Middle Eastern member.
Precisely. When you consider that this expanded group now includes some of the world's largest oil producers, Saudi Arabia, Iran, the UAE, right alongside major consumers like China and India.
That's a lot of energy market clout in one group.
Their collective leverage in global energy markets becomes formidable. It could have profound implications for energy security, for pricing. It gives the bloc substantial economic and geopolitical weight.
So this isn't just adding more members for the sake of numbers.
Not at all. It's about consolidating influence over essential global commodities and potentially the trade routes that carry them.
Okay, now let's be realistic here. An alliance this large, this diverse, it can't all be smooth sailing, can it?
Oh, definitely not.
We're talking about nations with vastly different political systems, democracies, monarchies, state-controlled systems, different economic priorities, even historical rivalries.
Absolutely. Think about India and China.
Right. Long-standing border disputes, strategic competition. That doesn't just disappear because they're in the same club.
You're absolutely right. The inherent challenges are significant. You've got everything from India's established democracy to the Gulf monarchies, China and Russia's state-controlled economies, to more market-driven systems elsewhere.
That's a lot of potential friction.
It is. And as you mentioned, even within the original BRICS, those India-China tensions predate the alliance by a long way. The question of how to reconcile these deeply ingrained differences while pursuing that shared vision of a multipolar world, that's perhaps the most complex hurdle they face.
It really is the multi-billion-dollar question, isn't it? Can that shared desire for a multipolar world, that shared critique of the existing system, truly overcome these internal differences?
Will the vision be strong enough?
Is it really possible for such a diverse group to truly align on concrete policies, on development strategies, or is this ambition maybe destined to be fractured by internal conflicts and competing interests?
That's the key uncertainty.
Yeah.
However, despite these inherent challenges, one thing is abundantly clear now. BRICS is no longer just an economic acronym.
It's moved way beyond that.
It is fundamentally transformed into a geopolitical force to be reckoned with. Regardless of its internal complexities, it represents a fundamental shift in how the world's economy and power structures are organized.
A move away from that unipolar moment.
Away from a unipolar or even bipolar world towards something far more distributed, more complex. This bloc is actively shaping global events now, not just reacting to them. And its influence, arguably, is only set to grow.
So as this global chessboard keeps shifting, maybe faster than ever, understanding BRICS isn't just for economists or political scientists anymore.
Not at all.
It's crucial for you, for our listeners, whether you're tracking global markets, interested in international relations, or simply trying to grasp the future of our, well, very interconnected world.
Absolutely.
The rise of this powerful bloc is already impacting trade, finance, international relations in ways we're probably only just beginning to fully understand. Think supply chains, the value of investments, energy prices.
It touches everything eventually. And this truly raises an important question for all of us to ponder, doesn't it?
Go on.
Is BRICS destined to lead a genuinely new global economic order? A truly multipolar system that actually redefines international cooperation? Or Will its inherent internal challenges, that sheer diversity of its members, ultimately prove too great for a truly unified, enduring front?
Ambition versus internal friction.
Exactly. How will that dynamic interplay ultimately play out on the global stage?
That is a fantastic and, yeah, complex question to leave you all with. We invite you to consider these complexities, keep exploring this rapidly evolving landscape, and continue your own deep dive into how BRICS will shape the world we live in. Thanks for tuning in to The Deep Dive.